Welcome to Gaia's Love, a podcast of brief messages to help humanity bridge the gap to the new earth. My name is Vivienne Gerard. It is my delight to be a scribe for consciousness today, sharing the wisdom that flows through from Source. Here we go. Episode 222. It is Wednesday. Here in Cincinnati, it's another gorgeous day. I thought we were going to have rain, but the sky is blue and the sun is shining. So I have a feeling we might play this afternoon for a little while and get outside. It is just so pretty. Okay, episode 222. We just have to start with that because I love angel numbers so much. That's what I call series of numbers based on the 11s, any of the combos of 11s, or the multiple numbers, the repeating numbers. So 22 feels like, well, here's what I probably say about numbers first. It all depends on what it means to you. So certain numbers, if you pay attention to them, may bring you certain messages. For example, your birth date may mean something if you see that on driver's plates, license plates, or time on the clock, or whatever, email times. But for me, there are some numbers I love more than others. I love the number 8. It looks like the infinity loop, and it has the swoosh that's just, a continuous line that just keeps looping around. So I love the number 8. I love the number 21 because that's the number of the timekeepers that I talk about in my book. I love the number 22. It feels like, for me, it's a number of mastery. I remember looking up angel numbers back when Doreen Virtue believed in angel numbers, and now she no longer does, but she had some really cool information about it that felt true to me. And so she had described 22 as a mastery number. And I really like the idea of that when we are improving and getting better and better at whatever it is we're focusing on, that eventually we can master that process or that skill. And so when I see 22 and when I use it in the exchanges for the things that I offer, the products that I offer, to me it's a sign of mastery. So my circles, my new moon circles, it's an exchange of 22 because that invites energetically everyone to show up in their own mastery and not need to be saved or rescued. And, the exchange between all of us is one master to another. And when I say that word, I don't mean mastery over anyone else, in the negative sense of mastery. It's like, I guess the best way to describe it would be like when someone plays a sport that's individual, like golf or swimming. You master your own time, you master your own skill, you improve and you get better and better at it. And so that's what that number means to me. I invite others to show up as masters of themselves, meaning they're aware of their emotions and their processes, or they're working towards it, or their intention is to be in self-mastery. So the number 222 is like an amplified mastery, and I just really enjoy that number. So this morning when I was getting ready for the podcast, and I had a topic or title in mind, and then I'm like, what number are we at again? And it was so funny. I was like, oh, it's 222. Today's 222. And I could just feel the thrill, the fun of that. So the title for today is just perfect for Mastery 222. The title is I Am Light. I am light, and there could not be a better description for mastery than that. I am light, I come from light, I return to light, I am light. And I love it especially in this space of the podcast, because the whole purpose of this podcast is to reflect the love that our planet has for us as humans who inhabit her space, the love that Source has for us, that we came from Source or God or Creator and we return to that. And then the love that I am constantly inviting us as humans to expand into, which is love for ourselves, love for our messiness, our imperfections, our skills, our lack of skills, love for the light that we are inside. And really, when you look at the container of all of that, it really is this beautiful unity between this planet that hosts us, the God that we came from, and then us, these humans who are having these journeys at this time in this beautiful planet. So there could be no better title for Mastery 222 than I Am Light. What brought that forward for me in my run this morning was the song by India Ari. And so I'm going to read you the lyrics to her song, I Am Light. I have heard this song so many times in so many different situations, and often it has been in retreats or in times of deep contemplation when I've been with some of my close friends. And my friend Andrea has sung this song to us before. It's absolutely glorious when she sings it. So I invite you, when you are done with the podcast, to find the song. I'll put the link in the comments and listen to India Ari sing it. Her voice, it's really cool too. When she starts singing it, her voice is at a higher octave. And then as the verses go through, it gets lower and lower and lower. And it's so awesome because you can feel how energetically she's bringing the light down and into the human body, helping us guide that light that we are down and in, and then settle, really settle into the mastery of our light. So here are the lyrics by I Am Light by India Ari. I am light. I am light. I am not the things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. I am light. I am not the mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that caused me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. My soul inside is all light. I am light. I am divinity defined. I am the God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light. Thank you, India Ari, for that absolutely beautiful vibration and the words that guide us. If you can feel the certainty and the truth of what she is offering, it feels like such a perfect continuation with this theme of transparency. Transparency, if you remember from Monday, is the shining through, the visibility, our light being the same wherever we are, for others to be able to see our light in whatever situations or experiences or relationships we show up in, that we are consistently the same light from within shining through. And yesterday when we talked about same love, the inclusion, that's not the right word, the desire for acceptance that I believe all of us have as humans, even when we look like we're rebelling and being the person who could care less. I don't believe that. I believe it is a natural desire of humans to want to be included, to want to be accepted, to want to be part of the tribe, the flock, the community. But if the judgments of who we are on the outside keep us from being included, at some point, sometimes we start to believe those judgments as truth. We start to accept that what others see us as is really all that we are, and that the light that we know sits inside is not authentic or real. We start to believe what everybody tells us about the outside of us. And so my invitation, my hope, my prayer this week is that each of these podcasts are guiding you back to that light, to the knowing that you are not the skin on the outside. You are not the stories. You are not the dreams that didn't happen. You are not the places where you caused pain or others caused you pain. All of that is just the human journey that we choose to go through. When this journey ends, we go back to being light. In a breath, in the ending of a breath, we immediately return to light. There's an amazing podcast, if you haven't heard it yet, an interview by Dr. Zach Bush with, I believe the interviewer's name is Rick Roll, something like that. But there's a part where Dr. Bush, who worked with patients at their end of life, he describes how he thought that he had a scientific understanding that as a doctor you're supposed to save people, you're supposed to bring them back when they're trying to transition, when they're dying, you're supposed to shock them back and bring them back to life, because what they actually want is to be here, to be alive on earth. And so he said he was in the ER this one long series of hours that he was working, and he said in that one particular night there were 3 patients who each had some sort of heart failure, and they shocked them and brought all 3 of them back to breathing, back to life. And he said it was absolutely incredible because these 3 very different individuals, different backgrounds, different ages, different stories, different relationships, no similarities. He said all 3 of them, as soon as they were back in consciousness, looked at him as the doctor and said, "Why did you bring me back?" And when he talked to them, they described this feeling of utter acceptance and light, that when they crossed over or left their bodies for however long they were gone, they said, "We felt accepted," ACC, accepted in a way we had never felt before. Why did you bring me back? And he said that just shook all of his beliefs to the core. And so it started him on this spiritual journey. And he's beautiful in the way that he talks about spirituality and science, how both are necessary here in this human journey, and how he's finding these ways to blend the two together. Dr. Zach Bush, he's just incredible. But I love that example that he shared. And my invitation is, why do we have to wait to die to experience that kind of inclusion? Why can't we start creating that and expanding that here in this lifetime, right now? Like, why can't we start today? Why do we have to keep our walls up and our projections and judgments separating all of us? Why can't we in this moment just say, I'm going to allow my light to shine through, and I'm going to believe that this light is me because it feels so true, because I feel that light inside, and I know that the stories around me cannot be true. Those are human stories, and so those eventually are going to end. They're going to go away. And so I'll just start living that light now, and I will see the light in the people around me, and I will validate that light to them. I will reflect their light with my light, and we'll just keep expanding that. Why do we have to wait until we die to have that experience? And I believe India Ari's invitation is the right way. It's to start with believing it in ourselves first. To say it over and over if we have to. I am light. I am light. Even when I'm frustrated with Star, I am light. Even when I don't want to go to the grocery store again today, I am light. The more we say it, it's eventually going to become more and more true and real and the way that we are living. And when we know we are that light inside, it's so much easier to also see it and share it with everyone around us. And when we're all just ping-ponging light at each other instead of projections and fear and anger and resentment, can you even imagine like what kind of energy field we'll have on Earth instead of black sludgy shit that we're throwing at each other? If we're actually just throwing light at each other, oh my gosh, like wow. Wow, is that a beautiful potential for what we could co-create. So where does it start? Right here. I am light. I am light. I am not the stories. I'm just going to read a couple lines again because it's so good. I am not the things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. I'm not the mistakes that I have made or any of the things that cause me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. I am not the color of my eyes. I'm not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I'm not my race. My soul inside is all light. I am definite. I am divinity defined. I am divinity defined. I am the God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light. Blessings to India Ari. Thank you for your guidance. Thank you for tuning into this vibration of pure love. I invite you to join me in aligning with the optimal health of your mind, body, spirit in the virtual community of Viv's Energy Gym. You can learn more at mysouljourney.com. Let's take this message of Gaia's love out into all of our relationships and communities today. So much love from my heart to yours.